All right, so hopping into top 4 here, we are going to be featuring, I don't know if it's Kara or Kara, with this ZoroPod deck up against Ed with the Zygarde Lycanroc deck. So this one's going to really come down to if we're able to establish Wimpod to evolve into the Golisopod, and this Buzzwole is going to be a huge component as well, since it is not weak to grass.
What is Zygarde weak to?
It is also weak to grass.
Oh,
so yeah, the Golisopod is going to be huge in this matchup for sure, and getting to go first is big for Kara. I think it's Kara because they're used Caramel. Yeah, that's my guess. I think it's Kara. So getting the turn 1 Bridget here, getting some additional bench Pokemon into play. And is there a Zorua in the active? It's kind of tricky because you'd love to get more Zoruas or more Wimpods, because especially since this active Zorua is most likely going down to a Jet Punch. Unless we retreat into the Lele, that could be a pretty good play as well with that DCE in hand already. Just getting the deck
really
list pulled up here.
I think this deck can feast on the Zorua deck like really on the early game. But like late game, I think that it's definitely more favored for like the Zoroark deck because the Mew just in the Golisopod just hits all the relevant weaknesses.
Right, yeah, you exactly have the 2 weaknesses covered with Psychic on the Buzzwole and then the Grass on Zygarde as well as the Lycanroc. But this one could snowball pretty much into the Zygarde Lycanroc player's perspective if you're able to take out that Wimpod early and then use you can take it out with Claw Slash. You have Dangerous Rogue plus Claw Slash if you're able to use that to kind of mow through the Zoroark, since those are weak to fighting. So this is a really back and forth, like everyone's hitting each other for weakness the whole time. And I'm taking a look at the lists here, see what we have available to both players.
Is Mew resistant to fighting as well, or no?
I don't believe so. I think it has no resistance.
Okay.
But it only has 120 HP, which is, pretty easy for a lot of things. Yeah, it's not. Pretty easy for a lot of these decks to hit that lowly 120.
I don't know if I would retreat it. I might have sent it up to Lele.
Yeah, and
that Mew go down pretty soon.
And this was a play that, I played a lot of Zoroark decks into... I played this matchup really a decent amount of times. And you can retreat into the Lele and then use Energy Drive. And that is able to just put, 60 damage onto the Buzzwole. But then you can finish it off with something like a Choice Banded Riotous Beating or a Choice Banded First Impression, something like that, where you can Ace Rolla out of that Lele since it's unlikely to go down, and you can reuse it. You can get it out of play, free up a bench space for another Wimpod. So I really like favoring going into the Lele there. I didn't love going into this Mew, but at the same time, you're about to take 2 prizes with it.
I might have got a Golisopod there just to get it evolved, so it won't go down.
For sure. Yeah, I like that line as well. Definitely want to make sure that you're protecting your biggest threat really is that Wimpod. And yeah, Prime, that Buzzwole about to die. Ooh, this could be pretty big though. The Parallel City.
I think they get rid of Guru. It's tough. I think they get rid of Guru though here, or they get rid of Zygarde.
Well, here's the big... Yeah, the big thing is they can use the Buzzwole here to respond with a 1 prizer to the Mew, and that was a big aspect of this matchup, is that, Mew is your great answer to the Buzzwole, the Psychic Weak Pokemon, but it's so fragile that it just immediately goes down to a Sledgehammer right after.
Copy your opponent's attacks as well?
Yes, Mew is a very good card.
That's really good.
Yeah. Mew can use the attacks of any Pokemon in play. It needs the same energy, of course, but... And wow, just an attach and a knockout from Ed there, so... Not a ton going on. Oops.
I think their worst case scenario is that they Yeah, I think that they probably should have went in with the Zygarde and Guzma and killed the Wimpod if they could have this turn. I think that's what I would have went for.
Yeah,
But I could see
definitely.
the merit to using the Buzzle this turn to get rid of the Mew.
Yeah, I mean the Mew is two prizes. I'm not sure if Ed's hand was poor. Perhaps
Yeah,
that could have factored into the decision. They might not
yeah.
have had a
They might
Gust
not.
card. Yeah. But I would have really liked to see, and you mentioned this, to see getting a Golisopod into play last turn, because if you evolve into the Golisopod, then that play, the risk of that play happening from Ed is just completely out the window. But now we get two
Exactly.
Wimpods down, so it's kind of a moot point.
Exactly. I think the key to this game for Zygarde is targeting down those Wimpods early, killing them, and then their last only attacker that they can hit you with is Mew or Zoroark that doesn't do very great into the Zygarde.
But choosing to attach the Grass Energy to this Wimpod, we did actually whiff the
Mhm.
Golisopod there, and actually Golisopod wouldn't have taken the KO. Its damage is being currently
Yeah.
reduced by your own Parallel City too, so you would have hardcore resist that. And now you get another turn of Sledgehammer. This is huge.
I think they could have got rid of Paracel with their field blower though as well. When
Yeah,
they
but I
only
think
got rid of
you do want to limit the bench though. And an ends played here, so no Guzma is going to be played to take out one of those Zoroarks. That would have been a massive if we could have,
Well, it would have been really good.
yeah, go down to two prizes. But we could see a KO still. I think we do,
Yeah.
yeah, with the choice band because of the Diancie in play. So that's
Yeah.
also massive. End of 4 and you get the KO, so that's just as good. And the DCE was found. Unfortunately, it's about to get discarded to this Enhanced Hammer, but um, this actually is looking pretty solid for Ed. You should
Yeah.
be able to survive. I'm not sure if we ever choose to target down. I guess you could use this Lele to go get a Guzma and just first impression to KO the Zygarde. Go down to two prizes yourself and remove the Sledgehammer threat.
Yeah. I think they should have played it safe on those last few turns. They should have went for the Glisopod and then removed the Parallel City on their own to
Mhm.
guarantee that only energy gets them the knockout, or if they hit DCE, so it gets them both outs to both options.
So here's a little play as well, and you're thinking, okay, great, I've dealt with this Buzzwole. You're no longer at 4 prizes, so Sledgehammer doesn't do anything. However, if Ed finds a strong energy, you're picking up a KO with Sledgehammer plus the Diancie with the Guzma. So all you need is strong energy Guzma on this turn, and Ed actually just wins the game. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think Ed's in a good spot because, like, even if he misses, theoretically, if he doesn't put down another two prizer, he can
right,
Lycan Rock for the end.
exactly. Yeah, if you get an energy attachment on the Rockruff, that's like your best. And we just see the
Yeah,
basic attached, yeah. So you won't get the game outright here, but just like you said, like just don't put down a two prizer. And we had the Guzma too, so we were pretty close. Pretty close. And actually there are max elixirs in this deck too, so we could theoretically pull off a dangerous rogue on the following turn, just max elixir first into an attach of another energy, and you can dangerous rogue there. So this is really, really positive for Ed, especially with that Sycamore being played. Thin out some more cards. So what is the strategy here for what is the play then for Kara? Kara. I want to say Kara. I think it's Kara.
and
Yeah.
I think that they go for the other Glisopod. It's tough. They go for the other Glisopod. I think they haven't used their GX, so they can DCE the Glisopod. I think that's 150, right? So it kills.
It does through the parallel, right? Since it would do
Yeah.
130 after the reduction. So you can use the GX attack and then
And then, yeah.
push up the Zorua, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's got to be their best option. Because your opponent either has it or they don't the next turn.
Right. I guess you could.
Yeah, I think here you just send
Yeah.
up. You already have game in hand for next turn, so I think you just do the GX attack
Yeah.
and send up the Zorua.
It actually doesn't matter because the Lycanroc brings up a bench Pokemon anyway. So Zorua is objectively correct, but like it doesn't actually matter. Because of course the Bloodthirsty Eyes would just bring it up anyway. But
Yeah, so it comes down to if they have it or not. Them discarding that Oranguru is actually kind of big, but I think that
Yeah.
they had to. Because, like, if they got rid of Diancie, they were in a bad spot, and if they got rid of... Maybe they could have got rid of Zygarde, to be
Ooh.
honest.
And N will do Ed in this game. Unfortunately, does not have the Lycanroc plus energy to close out the game. And they will concede, move on to game 2. All right, so Ed's going to get to go first, which is pretty good here. And getting a mulligan to work with as well, which is nice. Get some more card advantage. Always good to have more cards. And this could be big, just trying to get an aggressive, you get to have a turn before your opponent can evolve those Zoroarks. And a Lele start, actually, it's not that bad. It's not going to immediately get KO'd if like a Zorua or a Wimpod could. So Lele is probably one of your better starters here, especially with the DCE in hand. That being said, they only... Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong list. I'm like, there's just no way they only play 1 Lele. No, they do play 3. So a little bit harder. That being said, I'm looking at the rest of the hand for Kara here, and there's nothing else here. I mean, it is energy drive and hope that you don't get KO'd the next turn.
They can puzzle and possibly... They probably will find it out because they can puzzle, and then if they get all bad cards, they can go Evil Soda and then puzzle again. But
you can't Evo Soda if you don't have a target in play that can evolve, though, right? I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, then they're gonna live and die by this puzzle.
Right, and you already see this Rockruff on the bench with the... Oh my god. But we have at least a Brooklet Hill, so yes, we can shuffle a deck, though. We have...
Yeah, you're gonna want to shuffle that.
Irrelevant, and then Brooklet Hill. Maybe use another puzzle. Yep, there's the Brooklet Hill. I would have liked to see them search the deck at least, see what you're working with. That's always good with the Brooklet Hill, so, since you're about to replace it as well. Parallel could be big here, though. It turns off Lele. Or not sure if maybe Ed has a dead hand and needs the Lele. I would have liked to see another puzzle be played, though, I think. After yeah.
I think I would have puzzled first before even dropping the stadium, because then you can look, and then if you get another bad like set of 3, you can go again.
Right. Well, unfortunately, this one is just over on the board, and just like that, we're moving into a game 3. Kara will get to go first again. Looking for a little bit better of a start here. I still feel like I like... Yeah, it's weird because I still feel like I like the Lele start. You do play so many of them that it's, very likely you can just Ultra Ball for another one to get that Bridget. Because again, the Zorua is just going to go down to a single DCE.
Yeah.
And that's something you need to really think about against these fighting decks. Like, obviously you want to use the Lele out of your hand, but I think I just prefer being able to put something out that doesn't immediately get KO'd. And you have the DCE now that you top decked. You could put out some pressure with Energy Drive.
Yeah.
Get some good chip damage in. So, and it's just something that you can Ace Rolla later too.
Put you in an awkward spot too, because you want to go double Zora, but then you go lone Wimpod again, which is kind of suspect. Right.
So if you start the Lele, you can theoretically go double Wimpod, double Zorua.
Double Zora. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You feel a little bit safer doing that. At that point, of course, a Guzma onto a Zorua would just be, it would be pretty impactful as well. But I still think it's a little bit better to start the Lele in that circumstance. You could have put a little bit of pressure out and just keep that Zorua from going down. But we at least get the double Wimpod down. We have a Zoroark plus Cynthia and Evo Soda. So our hand is looking great on the following turn.
And
there's an Ultra Ball. So we should at least get some setup going for Ed.
I think they're going for the Buzz Wolf to force out the Mew.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah. Forces out the Mew and another DCE. Finding energy here on Rockruff would be really nice too.
Yeah, there we do. We find it. That's huge. So, and this just goes back to, I think this Buzzwole doesn't come up here if you have Lele in the active. Like, I guess you could still Jet Punch, but it's just so much worse to Jet Punch into a Lele that you can just Ace Rolla later in the game. and just
Yeah.
completely remove that damage, or you could just punch this. And actually, another key play that I want to mention too is if you put the Lele in the active with a DCE on it, and your opponent goes into that buzz roll, you can Acerola to get the DCE back to set up your Mew play. Yeah, and that was like a huge thing that you're able to pull off. So now that there's damage on this Lele, we could definitely see. Not with this hand currently, because we're gonna have to play the Cynthia most likely, but you could always go for that Acerola into Mew at some point.
Yeah, I might have damaged the Zoroark instead because it makes it that much more easier to pick off a late game. But
Agreed. Actually, currently with this, the Strong Energy plus Choice Band, you're already hitting for 80. Times 2, of course, is 160. So if you put a little bit of Jet Punch damage on the bench Zoroark with the Diancie Prism coming down, you could just Jet Punch for a KO on it, which would have been huge. Yeah, they have to be the most expensive sleeves, those melodic gem sleeves. Ooh, with the counter catcher is big here. Was there an Enhance Hammer too?
Yeah, they enhanced.
Wow, Enhance Hammer counter catcher was a very, very strong play. And this one just suddenly swung back into... I don't think it was ever, like, absurdly into Ed's favor, but this one is now very clearly in Kara's favor.
Yeah, that was a really strong hand they got off then.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be interesting to see the way that they approach this, because they probably can't attack with Zygarde. They probably have to go in with Buzzwole again, but then going in with Buzzwole leaves you open for Mew. And then also, the Baby Buzz is at 4 prizes only, right?
Correct. Only at 4 prizes.
Yeah. So by doing this, they probably dodge that turn, the 120 turn.
Wow, and it's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just choosing to give up the Rockruff.
I would really want to see a Guzma here, but like they need to find it. They might be able to just Lele.
Yeah, that's why you had the Ultra Ball. That was an interesting discard.
Yeah, I would have really liked to see the Guzma here so they can get rid of the Zygarde altogether just this turn.
Yeah, I think a play you can go for here is Armor Press with the Golisopod. You can just take the Rockruff out of play, seems fine, and you reduce the damage that's dealt back to you in the following turn, plus you have the Acerola in hand. So you could just go for the Armor Press, take the KO. That Rockruff is still pretty threatening, so not being able to Guzma here is not the end of the world. Of course, Ed could follow up with like a Attach and Guzma to bring up the Zoroark and Sledgehammer that for a KO, which would be pretty bad. And I don't know how I feel about this N. We didn't really see much out of Ed last turn.
Yeah, I think they just passed. I think I would have really liked to see the Guzma play there.
And you had the option for it. I believe there was at least another Lele in deck, unless they prized 2 of them. We go for the Armor Press, so we do take the KO there, which is big. You know, that Rockruff is definitely very threatening. And quick update from the other top 4 match. Isla is up 1-0 over Lee. And still might not see the Lee Pete once again. But here's the Guzma play I was talking about. So now you do just lose the Zoroark to a Sledgehammer. It goes down to 3 prizes. But this is a little bit different than the last time because there are still 4 prizes worth in those bench Pokemon available to Kara. So, and we have the Guzma DCE in hand. You can take out that the Zygarde with this Golisopod already. And River AFR, maybe? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And we'll see what they choose to do. Do they play a second counter catcher? Is that another counter catcher? It is. Wow. Very, very cool card. I played counter catcher in Greninja actually at one point. Very cool card.
It goes in the guy guard here. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can do this you can do this with the counter catcher, which is great because it keeps that Guzma for the following turn. That's huge actually. Yeah. and you already have the DCE in hand. I think that they were down a couple of puzzles, right? Or was that the last game?
If they're down, I think it was the last game. I think they have more puzzles left, so I think they hold it. But if they're down 3 puzzles, I think they play it. But
Ooh.
I don't think.
I do not like this
I
attachment.
think
I
they
don't
hold
like
it.
this attachment at all. Yeah. Because Mew is your win condition on the following turn, this just makes it that much harder to get that. Oh, I didn't like that. And the Sycamore too. I don't know how I feel about any of that. I feel like that was unnecessarily aggressive.
Yeah,
You
they
did
would have
have
traded into a puzzle for game too if they didn't get end. I think because it would have been their top two.
Well, and if you think about it too, if you're trying to play around N a little bit, keeping the Sycamore plus Guzma and Puzzle, like those are all cards that
Yeah.
either win you the game or keep your draws going. So I don't love that choice from Kara there. I think you're still. Oh, the Mew was
I got the
prized. All right, well that changes things then. But yeah, Mew being prized there and taking it off the prizes is extremely big. I mean that could have been game ending if you don't have the Mew access there.
hmm
Still pretty behind if you're Ed, even if the Mew stays prize, I don't think you have an immediate way to take good prizes this turn. I guess you can KO the Zorua on the bench, then set up to take that the final knockout on the Zoroark with, a
Yeah.
boosted Jet Punch or Sledgehammer.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to go for that. They're gonna have to go for the Zora and then try to kill the Zoroark to end the game. But I think that's the only play they really can do at this point because I think the armor press, which reduces the damage on Gliscopod as well.
That's true, right? Um, yeah, Phoebus needs gem sleeves. Make it happen. Make it happen. So here's the Lele.
Yeah, they're probably going for Guzma here.
Yeah.
I would have to assume. Oh, N.
N.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the problem with this, okay, I would have liked the float zone on the active, I think, because I would,
You're gonna need to pivot it after this turn, probably.
yeah, but I think you had to go for the Guzma there, right?
I think you have to, but like without a Lycanroc, it's probably pretty sus. I don't know.
Yeah, but you
like-
could have,
Yeah, but like this play seems really bad.
yeah, you have a 0-card hand now. So I think my thinking for going with the Guzma play there is you take out the Zorua, you take a prize. Like, you're just so far behind at this point because you didn't take a prize. And if that Zorua evolves, there are no, like, easy prizes or multiple prizes to take. Like, you could theoretically set up for a Jet Punch KO on the Zorua and a Zoroark. You need a lot to make that happen, but you are not the only lover of Phoebus, Gabby. Definitely not.
They'll probably just hammer here and armor press. That seems solid to me.
Yeah, and Hand Hammer's pretty big. And I really would love to see the puzzle get conserved. I suppose you could theoretically Ultra Ball for another Zoroark just to protect the Zorua from a bench, the bench KO with the Jet Punch.
They have a Lele attack, right?
They have two.
I think they
yes.
might just. Yeah, so I would just armor press here. Because like they have the boss for the following turn, or the Guzma. And Regirock's weak to grass, right?
Correct. Regirock is weak to grass. I mean, and
Yeah,
you're
so
also
they-
two-shotting. You're setting up the two-shot on this active anyway.
Yeah.
Also, Ed has a 0-card hand, so...
Yeah.
I mean, what
This is
does Ed
probably-
even top deck?
He needs a top deck like a research here, and then like max potion shenanigans or something. But like I don't.
There's no
it's
max
looking rough.
potion. Like, yeah, Jet Punch, and that's just gonna do it. You take a KO, you go down to 2 prizes, but game is just on board. You can use that armor press, finish off the Buzzwole, and Ed
Crossing
and
cut.
go for the crossing cut. Yep, the BM. Yep, we got to do it. Take the game, and Kara with ZoroPod moving on to the finals.